I'm still thinking about change and the meaning of change in our lives. And I really realized that change isn't just a phase or something that happens to us, but like everything is constantly changing. You hear this phrase a lot, but it's so true that change is the only thing that will be constant. So, no matter how old we are, no matter in what stage of our lives we're in, we're going to be confronted by change. And really, everything is always changing and always moving. For example, our bodies are changing all the time, but also our relationships, our thoughts. We are thinking like so many thoughts in a day. And even if you look outside, like the wind never stands still. There's always movement. Everything is always changing around us. And we are aging as well. So we are confronted with change basically all the time in our lives. But still, so many of us struggle with change. So it's hard for us sometimes to accept change and to respond well to change. And I think it's also normal that we want to stay in the known. What is certain is controllable, right? So we have full control over the things that we know already and over our circumstances. Why should we even like intentionally change something if our brains are literally wired to crave stability? It's natural to want safety and to avoid uncertainty and discomfort. But what we forget is that life wouldn't be life if it would be stagnant, if there wouldn't be movement and growth, and that change is also always an invitation to grow and also to like expand your knowledge, to expand the world that you're living in, to change your reality and make it bigger and wider and to see more things. So, actually, change can be such a beautiful thing as well. And it can be so rewarding if we would let ourselves lead into that change a little bit more often. The change that is thrown at us, but also the change that we consciously create. So I think one way to deal with change that we didn't expect and that we didn't invite is to not resist it. This is easier said than done. But actually, if we don't acknowledge change, if we don't acknowledge that our reality is shifting and that things aren't the same anymore, it has power over us. So if we resist it and if we try to ignore it, it's powerful. It's like, okay, this thing is there. And it puts us into this avoidant behavior, which makes it even stronger. Because if we try to ignore it, it becomes even more overwhelming. And the first thing that we should do is to acknowledge it and to say, okay, something is changing. It's not the same as it was before, and it's there. We cannot do anything about it. It is changing. For example, if we have to move out of our apartment and we have actually no power over it, so we have to move out. Even if we don't want to, if we ignore it, it will only get worse. But if we see it for what it is, for something that we can respond well to, we actually claim our power back. Or if we lose our jobs, we have to accept this reality to move on and to find a solution, right? Another thing is that we then begin to overthink about the future. So I think another way to deal with change or uncertainty is to really trying to get back into the present moment and to break down the change into manageable steps and take it one day at a time. You don't have to have everything figured out immediately. It's a process. And we also have to trust that through the process, clarity will come eventually. And another way to deal with change is to reframe it as excitement. And I actually love this because I think I'm a person who's like both, sometimes scared of change, but sometimes I also feel like this longing for change and like this excitement that builds up inside of me and that almost feels like falling in love, like the butterflies. And yeah, really looking forward to change and looking forward to how good life can actually get, and that life has so many possibilities. And also that we will never know what we're truly capable of if we only stay in the known. Like we build self confidence and we build self trust by leaning into change and by showing ourselves how much we're capable of and how many things we can actually figure out and how strong we really are. And the more we face change, the more we trust ourselves to handle it. Dealing with change really is like a muscle, and the more we're using it, the stronger it gets. And you'll learn that even if you feel uncertain or even if you are scared of the future, you can still move forward. And when you get through it, you realize that you are so much more capable of it than you thought. So each time we embrace change, we actually add a little bit more strength to our foundation. It teaches us resilience, it teaches us flexibility, and we really have to realize that change is such a good tool for growth and for stepping out of our comfort zones and for just becoming. Also, often what we forget is that clarity comes through action and not the other way around. We all tend to wait for clarity before we take action. So we want to have it all planned out in our heads. We think it all through before we actually start with something. But the reality is that clarity only comes through action. So sometimes you just need to take this first step, even if it's not perfectly planned out, and you have to invite change a little bit to feel clarity and to have an outcome that you then can think about and can examine. But the importance is to first let change shift your reality so that then your path becomes a little bit more clear to you and you're able to really see what you want. And yes, for me, change really is something that is both exciting and scary at the same time. And it's a very unique feeling. It's like this duality of both things existing at the same time. Because sometimes when change is forced at us and we don't want it, we of course feel uncomfortable and we resist it. But at the same time, we can sometimes feel this excitement and be like, okay, now I have to change my reality. So what's next? And I think this energy of possibilities and of the future unfolding in front of us and literally stepping into the uncertain, that's like a very special feeling that gets me excited, not knowing what the journey ahead of you will bring you, but still going on this journey. That's like the spark that makes everything feel a little bit more vivid and that gives us this feeling of aliveness and also of being out of our control a little bit, but that's the excitement. And I think we need more of that. I think we all should open ourselves up a little bit more to change because, in the end, I believe that, of course, if we stick to our values and if we stay in tune with ourselves, that change will actually bring us more positive things than we expect, and that it can be so rewarding. So if you are in a situation right now where you want to change something or where change is thrown at you, just remember that you can get so many good things out of this and that there are so many unexpected ways that this can go and that you really should just embrace the beauty of it and to get into this feeling of like aliveness and excitement. It's also a gift that we still can feel this excited and that we can still have those body experiences. Don't wait until everything feels perfect and safe. Clarity comes through change, and in change lays so much growth. So, yeah, I really hope that this video inspired you, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!